So, you're a filmmaker in lockdown. All your shoots are cancelled and everyone keeps telling you that you should learn new skills. Well, if growing your business sounds like a new skill, you've certainly come to the right place. What's up Alpha Universe, Jacques Crafford here. I am so excited as today I'm sharing the first of many educational videos with Sony. Now if you're not shooting Sony, don't run away just yet, as these videos are packed with value and you might just learn something that will change the way you do business. For those of you who don't know me, I make videos for a living. I specialize in tourism, travel and adventure films, working with tourism boards, travel companies and outdoor brands. I also take photos, but the majority of my income is from the video content I create. Before I jump into today's video, I just want to take a moment and explain what this is all about. Now first of all, big ups to Sony for making these videos possible. With the world currently living online, they've decided to create a database of educational material, and in the coming months you'll see a great variety of teaching coming from all their ambassadors. I also have this privilege, and it's an honor to be part of the Sony team. From live sessions to pre-recorded lessons. Make sure you visit the Alpha Universe website, as there is something for everyone. Now let me get this straight. This video is not about me. I want you to learn something. However, for me to share my experience, it's almost impossible not to include a bit of my journey. If I have to share my journey on how I got here, it'll be impossible to exclude Sony from it, as they've played a vital role in my success. It was 2008, my final year studying towards a BCom degree in risk management. Yes, I know, it's completely not what I'm doing, but at that time I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So in my final year, I went on a cycling trip with my hostel, and one of my friends gave me his dad's video camera and he asked me if I could just film some footage and something that we can keep for record. At first I was a little hesitant, but I just said yes, and I still remember the moment when I picked up the camera and went like this. It was one of those handy cams. I went like this and it was love at first sight. I simply couldn't put it down. I just wanted to shoot the whole time. They kept on telling me, dude, you're draining the batteries, but I just enjoyed it so much. So when I got home that holiday, I immediately downloaded free software and started editing a video. And when I showed it to the hostel and all my friends, they were just loving it. And they were like, dude, you've got to do more of this. So during that final year, I just kept on making videos, and eventually I was enjoying it so much. I was doing it until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And by the end of my final year, when I finished my degree, I put my pen down. I still remember that moment. I put my pen down and I just had this epiphany. I was like, I'm going to create videos for the rest of my life. That's what I'm going to do. I jumped into the wedding industry, and with rental gear, I shot my first few weddings. They were terrible, but what a wonderful way to learn. I only saw wedding videos as a temporary solution, a stepping stone, but lo and behold, I developed a passion for it. So for the next 6 years, I immersed myself into the wedding industry, learning how to work fast and effective, learning how to work with people, and most of all, how to tell stories. Now, I've been with Sony for the past 6 years, and switching systems was a real turning point in my career. Back in 2014, when the Sony a7S was released, I was completely baffled by the specs they presented. At that time, the wedding industry was dominated by mostly DSLR video, consisting of Canon and Nikon shooters. On paper, the Sony had everything I lacked and was so far ahead of anything out on the market. I simply had to make the jump. So once I got my hands on it, I was completely overjoyed with my decision because it turned out to be even better than I expected. The camera was packed with features that took my wedding videos to the next level. My work immediately looked better, and with every Sony wedding I posted, I started getting more inquiries and better weddings. All the while, my peers were hesitant to make the switch. I was growing my brand and building my portfolio. By the time the masses got the message that Sony is a force to be reckoned with, I've already set myself up as one of the industry leaders, and I had the luxury of charging more. Sony gave me the momentum I needed, and also it's the reason I started photography, but more about that later. I'll stop this story here for now, but I do want to mention that I'm doing another 2 videos, one about Instagram and one about getting the work you've always dreamed of, as there I will elaborate on how I transitioned from weddings into a world of travel and adventure. Now let's jump into the topic, how to grow your filmmaking business. What I'm about to share with you is not a 10-step guide to success, but rather a set of principles for growth. There's a saying that goes, the principle works if you work the principle. I believe that a lot of small changes can make a big difference, and by applying these principles, you are guaranteed to see some form of growth. Right now, you're probably sitting at home thinking, how is this even possible? I'll respond to that by saying that without these principles, I would have never made it as far as I have today. These principles can be applied online right now, but I will also challenge you to take it a step further once the lockdown is lifted. Principle 1. What you put out there is what you attract. It's simple. People will be drawn to your work based on what you put out there, and what you put out there will be the work that you get more of. If you put out wedding videos, you will get inquiries for weddings. You will be booked for weddings. If you put out a certain type of wedding video, you will attract a certain type of wedding client. Brand perception is crucial, and you have to use this time and ask yourself, who do I want to target? What's the work that I want to do more of? The first and most important way to curate what you put out there is through a showreel. If you don't have a showreel, you better listen up. A showreel is the modern business card, dynamic and alive with feeling, able to reach to the ends of the world. A showreel speaks a lot more about what you do and has the potential to instantly make people want to work with you. I can't tell you how much work I've gotten just from people seeing my showreel, long before they've even seen my website or visited my Instagram. The first time I saw the value of a showreel was back when I still filmed weddings. I did my first talk at the Photo and Video Expo in 2015, and the idea came to create a clip that will show my work without showing them a bunch of videos. The funny thing is, the moment it went onto social media, I started getting flooded with new inquiries, new work, and more than ever before, I knew that the showreel was the cause of this. I put my showreel on my website so that the first thing people see would be this compilation of my work. When I eventually moved into the travel game, I released a showreel every year, sometimes just a 1-minute clip, but it always did the trick. Taking it a step further, the transition from weddings to travel took me almost 2 years, as I still had to film weddings to pay the bills, but during this time, I stopped marketing myself as a wedding videographer, and my showreels didn't have a single wedding clip in them. I was putting it out to the world that I am a travel filmmaker. And even 1 year before I pulled the plug on a wedding business, I stopped posting weddings, I killed my website, I killed my Facebook page, I didn't mention my weddings, I didn't mention my coming and going at weddings. I simply posted the content that I wanted to get more work of. My Instagram only consisted of travel content, more than half of it self-paid, but I was rebranding myself and letting the world know that this is what I'm keeping myself busy with. Find your niche and focus on it. Don't market yourself as a jack of all trades and risk labeling yourself as a master of none. A showreel is something that requires you to carefully curate and think about what you include and why you include it. If your aim is to get out of events and do more commercial type of work, then create a reel where you only use shots that doesn't feel like it was coverage for an event. Take your time about the music you choose. If there are words or copy involved, get someone like a professional writer to help you out. My first wedding showreel had a narrated voiceover with copy written by a writer friend, which she actually did free of charge. So you don't always have to pay someone. There's many ways to collaborate and to barter.
You have found me. You know me. You are with me. Together, we can do so much in the quiet mind. River, ocean, and forest. I am in love with love. With love.
If you're watching this and you don't have a showreel, you know what to do. The next principle is something that goes hand in hand with what you put out there is what you attract. And I simply can't stress this enough. Quality over quantity. Yes, I know it's super cliche, but it's because cliches are usually true. The biggest mistake I made was thinking that I had to look busy, that I had to constantly put out work for people to notice me. The idea of posting for the sake of having to post. That even though it wasn't my best work, I'm supposed to post because somehow the world is waiting for it. A part of this was seated in my desire to grow my following on my social pages, a topic I will also be talking more about in the videos to come. I've barely posted anything on social media for the past year, and yet I'm at my busiest working with my biggest clients to date. The reality is that quality will always trump quantity, and the first impression someone gets when they find your brand will significantly increase or decrease your chances of getting booked. You don't need 100 videos on your portfolio to persuade someone to work with you. Gosh, I had 3 videos on my site when I booked my first big commercial client. Back when I used to do weddings, my aim was to get high-end clients with bigger budgets, and the only way I was able to accomplish that was by not sharing the budget weddings and curating my website to only show the best and most expensive weddings. In the beginning, I only had 2 videos and my showreel, but those 3 videos quickly resulted into bigger and better weddings. And like a snowball, my portfolio started growing and growing, and I was constantly upping my rates. By the time I had 12 videos, I simply kept on swapping them out with better ones. You simply don't need 100 videos. Given the age we live in, your online brand now matters more than ever before. We'll briefly touch on the most important platforms for filmmakers: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Vimeo. People will likely find your work on any one of these platforms long before they visit your website. Not having a presence and a curated portfolio on these platforms is setting yourself up for failure. That being said, you have to take this time to curate your brand on these platforms, taking into account that quality is more important than quantity, so that the first impression someone gets on Instagram resembles the impression they get on YouTube or Facebook, because you never know where they're going to find you first. Delete the okay stuff and only keep the best. I'm actually doing a video just about Instagram in the month of May, so be on the lookout for that. Now, if there's one principle I'm going to hammer on today, it'll be about your network. So let's call it networking. Networking is the biggest reason I've made anything out of my business. Networking is a timeless principle that will outlast any social platform and applies in every industry. There's tons of ways to network, but for now I will only focus on online networking. I'm also releasing another video in May labeled Getting the Work You've Always Dreamed Of, where I will go deeper into this topic. Pair it with the Instagram video and you will find lots of valuable info on how to position yourself better as a brand. So right now, you're sitting at home, you've got an internet connection. Where do you start? Well, Instagram and Facebook are the big ones, but you can also use YouTube and Vimeo, or all of them if you have the time. The fact is, it will require some time and effort, but your starting point should always be to give. Yes, you heard right. The mindset of networking should never be, what can I get from this? Your goal with networking should be these 2 things, and all the rest will come after it. Number 1, making friends by being a friend. Number 2, share your knowledge and add value to people's lives. People always want to work with someone they know, like, and trust, and there's no better way to establish this by using these examples. It's never been about being the best, but whether or not people know about you, like you, and trust you enough to work with you. The most successful businesses aren't necessarily always producing the best work, but they have strong networks and loyal clients. Getting back to number 1, making friends. This is really simple. You start by reaching out to people in your industry, and the goal should not be to get anything except building a relationship. There's no place for ego in this approach, as you will always start with complimenting them on their work. Be authentic and mean what you say. My biggest competitors have become my biggest friends because of this approach. Everything changes the moment it becomes personal, so let's make it personal. On Instagram, start commenting on those people that make you feel a little jealous. Yes, those you always silently sit and watch, the ones who inspire you, but you never take the time to comment. Do it without expecting a thank you or a follow back. Yes, do it unconditionally. The more you do this, the more you will liberate yourself from this jealousy, and before you know it, you'll be free from the spirit of competition and comparison. An example of where this came to life was on Instagram. So there's this local photographer. I've been admiring his work for so long, for many years. Just always complimenting him, commenting on his posts. He didn't even follow me back, but I didn't care because he was such an inspiration to me. And then one day, out of the blue, all of a sudden he follows me back and he sends me a message and he's like, "Hey man, thanks for your support. I really like your stuff." I guess he must have been checking out my work a few years back, but over the years my work started getting better. And because I was constantly conversing with him and commenting and engaging with him, he was still aware of me. And then one day when he actually clicked on my account, he saw my work and he thought that it was good enough to be followed back. And as we started conversing, we actually became friends. And it got to the point where he sent a big job over to me, and it was actually a massive breakthrough for me. The same goes for Facebook. Send that DM, like their pages, and engage with their content. Don't come with the angle of, "Hey, I'm so-and-so, this is what I do." Simply reach out and build relationship. With physical meetup being such a challenge right now, why not schedule a Zoom or a Skype session? Things change dramatically when you talk to someone face to face, and right now a video call will have to cut it. Number 2, sharing your knowledge and adding value. The best place to add value is in photography groups. Facebook works the best here. There's a ton of these groups, and sometimes they're private or secret groups, and you'll only get invited to them if you make friends within your network. Even as I speak, there's new groups being created about how to survive this time we found ourselves in. The nature of the group doesn't matter. They all have one purpose, and that is to build community and encourage networking. On these groups, you'll often find people asking questions. If you have an answer, answer. It's not just about helping one person, but actually your name gets visibility on the group, and you'll often find someone reaching out to you because of this. If you find a cool tutorial that's relevant to that group, share it. There's no room for keeping stuff to yourself in a network. Now I know there's some of you that might think, "But Jacques, I simply can't give away everything I know to my competition for free." This is the beauty of networking people so often fail to understand. It's a game of give and take. Competitors turned into friends are not only the greatest source of learning, but for me it's also been a great way to getting more work. Some of my favorite jobs to date came through a competitor who was either too busy or who didn't want to do that kind of job. Like any relationship, there's always some kind of a risk involved, but I've never regretted taking this approach. And to this date, I've always gotten more out than what I actually put in, even though at times I had to put in first. Like I said, the moment things become personal, you'll see these new friends refer work your way, share new ideas, share techniques, share their knowledge. I've learned more from my network than any other platform, even if it meant just directing me to a link. The funny thing about giving back is that I often learn from amateurs. People starting out has an incredible drive to read up about the latest developments, something we tend to neglect as established companies, and every now and then I learn something of great value by simply engaging with them. So, what can you do right now? Well, for starters, clean up your brand. What you put out there is what you attract, with quality more important than quantity. Build your network. Go and comment. Start a discussion on a group. Invite your competitors to watch that free webinar they might not know about. A popular trend happening right now is industry peers having discussions on Zoom and streaming it live to Facebook. Get on it. Start your own video podcast and ask your favorite filmmaker for an interview. Do a series with a bunch of them even. The possibilities are endless. Whatever you do, don't sit still and do nothing. As creatives, we need to spend more time growing our brands, refining our brands, building networks, and not get caught up in only trying to do better work. The real magic happens when good work meets a great network. You have to find that balance. The amazing thing about a well-established network is that it's almost self-sustaining in a way, constantly growing and organically reaching new people, bringing people into your network. You are only as strong as your network. Well, that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching the video until the end. I want to take this a step further and give you the opportunity to ask questions. I'll be responding to these questions next week with a follow-up video, so make sure you comment below and be on the lookout for the response video. For updates and current events, go and follow Sony Alpha SA on Facebook and Instagram. Bye for now.